Have you ever wondered which president each US president admired the most? Here's a look at the favorite presidents of all 46 US leaders. George Washington, the first president, didn't have a predecessor to admire. However, his legacy became a benchmark for future presidents. John Adams admired George Washington for his leadership and his role in the American Revolution. Thomas Jefferson also looked up to George Washington, respecting his efforts in forming the new nation. James Madison was influenced by Thomas Jefferson, appreciating his intellect and vision. James Monroe admired George Washington for his leadership and service to the country. John Quincy Adams looked up to his father, John Adams, admiring his principles and dedication. Andrew Jackson admired Thomas Jefferson for his belief in the common man and states' rights. Martin Van Buren was influenced by Andrew Jackson, appreciating his populist ideals. William Henry Harrison admired George Washington for his military and presidential leadership. John Tyler respected Thomas Jefferson, valuing his vision for America. James K. Polk looked up to Andrew Jackson, who was his mentor and inspiration. Zachary Taylor admired George Washington for his military leadership. Millard Fillmore respected Henry Clay, a prominent statesman and orator, although not a president. Franklin Pierce looked up to Andrew Jackson for his strong leadership. James Buchanan admired Andrew Jackson, appreciating his firm stance on issues. Abraham Lincoln admired George Washington for his leadership and unity. Andrew Johnson respected Andrew Jackson for his populist views. Ulysses S. Grant admired Abraham Lincoln, under whom he served as a general. Rutherford B. Hayes looked up to Abraham Lincoln for his leadership during the Civil War. James A. Garfield admired Abraham Lincoln for his commitment to the Union. Chester A. Arthur respected Abraham Lincoln, valuing his principles and leadership. Grover Cleveland admired Thomas Jefferson for his dedication to democracy. Benjamin Harrison looked up to his grandfather, William Henry Harrison, and admired Abraham Lincoln. Grover Cleveland's second term continued to admire Thomas Jefferson. William McKinley respected Abraham Lincoln, under whom he served as a soldier. Theodore Roosevelt admired Abraham Lincoln for his leadership and vision. William Howard Taft respected Theodore Roosevelt, who was his close friend and predecessor. Woodrow Wilson admired Thomas Jefferson for his ideals of democracy and governance. Warren G. Harding looked up to William McKinley, whom he considered a mentor. Calvin Coolidge admired Abraham Lincoln for his humble beginnings and leadership. Herbert Hoover respected Abraham Lincoln for his principles and perseverance. Franklin D. Roosevelt admired Theodore Roosevelt, his cousin, and Abraham Lincoln for their leadership during crises. Harry S. Truman admired Andrew Jackson for his straightforwardness and strong leadership. Dwight D. Eisenhower respected George Washington for his military and presidential leadership. John F. Kennedy admired Thomas Jefferson for his intellect and vision. Lyndon B. Johnson respected Franklin D. Roosevelt, under whom he began his political career. Richard Nixon admired Woodrow Wilson for his foreign policy and international vision. Gerald Ford admired Abraham Lincoln for his leadership and integrity. Jimmy Carter respected Thomas Jefferson for his democratic ideals and principles. Ronald Reagan admired Franklin D. Roosevelt for his communication skills and leadership during difficult times. George H. W. Bush respected Ronald Reagan, under whom he served as vice president. Bill Clinton admired John F. Kennedy for his vision and inspiration. George W. Bush admired Ronald Reagan for his strong leadership and principles. Barack Obama admired Abraham Lincoln for his leadership and moral clarity. Donald Trump admired Andrew Jackson for his populist stance and fight against the elite. Joe Biden admires Franklin D. Roosevelt for his ability to lead through economic and social challenges. Each president drew inspiration from those who came before, creating a rich tapestry of influence and legacy that continues to shape the nation's leadership.